Hi, Purdey. So it's your last set. It's very exciting. You've been working hard and you've been doing really well. So let's see what you have for us in this set, okay? Green energy is the topic. Let's see what you wrote. In the last decades, in all countries all over the world, the usage of green energy as a substitute for gas and oil has increased considerably. Whether the positive effects of using green energy instead of the traditional energy sources outweigh the risk of insufficient energy levels is still debated. Wow, that's a great sentence. I was worried about it as I was reading it, but you did it perfectly. And it's a nice kind of twist because you're showing some advanced grammar here. You're using some passive voice. I'm happy with this sentence. I think it's great. Personally, while there is a risk of insufficient availability of energy, on the whole, I believe that green energy is a positive development. Beautiful. Let's keep going. There is ample evidence that there are multiple positive effects for society. Not of. That's weird. Let's try it again. There is ample evidence that there are multiple positive effects for society. Um, let's see. There's ample evidence that there are multiple positive effects. Um, not of. But I'm kind of at a loss based on how you've done this. Let me think about it for a second, okay? Maybe involved in, or maybe we should move the for society because just kind of makes it confusing. Let me try it one more time. There is ample evidence that there are multiple positive effects. Yeah, you don't get rid of for society. In using, you could have said, or involved in using. I think I would have preferred one of those, but get rid of society, it just, I don't know what to do with it. It just kind of makes it kind of mucky. Let's continue. The reduction of damage to the environment is the most important benefit to mention. In the process of extracting and transporting gas and oil, nature can be harmed. Leakages of oil have immediate detrimental effects for the environment, singular. For example, a couple of years ago, a tanker filled with oil sank in the North Sea, capital S, close to the Netherlands, causing thousands of fish and birds to die. It takes natures months, if not years, to recover from this disaster. Furthermore, producing new energy sources is less costly. When built, here you need a T, not a D, windmills and solar panels need almost only nature to create energy, while with gas and oil, there are always high production costs involved. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good. So while the positive effects are clear, there is also a drawback in the usage of green energy. With green energy, people are more dependent on nature. At moments when there is a peak in demand, while it is winter, no, it's weird. Let's try it again. At moments when there is a peak in demand, comma, for example, in winter, comma, there could be insufficient amounts of energy available. This can cause problems for critical organizations like hospitals, which, it's not a person, which need uninterrupted, not interruptible, uninterrupted availability of energy to save human lives. However, this risk can be lowered by creating adequate backup facilities for these organizations. Okay, all right. Although there's a risk of insufficient levels of energy for critical organizations. Society as a whole benefits from the usage of green energy because of the reduced production costs and lower risk of damage, not damages, singular, to nature. All right, this is very nice. I like this. I think you did a great job with it. You developed this certainly a lot more than this. I kind of wanted you to write maybe something else. Like, what else is involved in energy security? Could it also be possibly costs? All right, because that's an issue as well. Maybe the initial investment involved in the infrastructure to extract renewable sources of energy. Maybe that's very expensive. So perhaps you could have talked about that, just like even briefly. But in general, I really like this essay very much. Little grammatical mistakes, not huge grammatical mistakes, but little ones. So I want you to be careful about those, okay? A nice essay overall. Good job. So let's take a look at your map now. All right, why does this look so tiny to me? Hold on, let me just check your word count really fast. Maybe it's not tiny, maybe I'm just Who knows? Let's see. Yeah, 150. So you probably could have written more, but I want to see what you did. So rather than jumping the gun. Okay, the map shows a transformation of a piece of land. It's not a piece of land, it's an island, so be careful. While in the first picture there is only nature to be seen, the second picture shows a developed area with houses, companies, and recreational facilities. They're not really companies. Okay, you could say businesses, but I wouldn't call them companies. You've got a mall, you've got a hotel, and I think you have a restaurant. Okay, so maybe that would have been better. Um, Fine, let's continue. And it's not really reconstruction because reconstruction means that something was built there and then they had to build something again. So that's not the case. So it should have just been the construction or the development. That also would have been good. The development entails the clearing of trees to make space for the construction of a residential area. Okay, in the West, not there will, there is, because it's before and after. In the West, there is an area with freestanding houses with a footpath intersecting it. In the West. Okay, fine. In the Eastern region, the houses are positioned in a circle and connected to each other through several footpaths. Fine. Offices and other buildings are established or have been established in the middle of the land. These buildings are surrounded by a vehicle track and also some footpaths. Period. Okay, just stop the sentence right here. In addition, there are areas created for recreational purposes. In the east of the island, a lake has been created and a pier has been just built on the other side of the island. Okay, so um, I like some of what you did. I don't love all of it. I like that you talked about the like that you talked about the housing. That was good. Okay, like the way you organized that. I do kind of feel like you didn't really understand what you were looking at, that you were looking at an island, even though I'm fairly certain that it says that it's an island. So maybe not here. Um, but I like the way you organized it. So you organized it like housing, that was smart. And then you organized it like the businesses, and then you talked about the recreational things like the lake, the pier. You didn't talk about the beach though, and that kind of concerned me. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything about the beach. Yeah, you didn't mention anything about the beach. You could have at least just mentioned that it's there because it does seem fairly important. Um, Also, another thing that I would have liked is, you've got these two maps here, right? And what did you really tell me about the first one? Nothing. You mentioned something in your overview about it. Here, the first picture, there was only nature. You never actually analyzed it. Just because you talk about something in your overview, it doesn't mean that you don't have to talk about it again. Okay? So in fact, if it's important enough to go in your overview, then it's important enough for you to analyze it in the detailed paragraphs as well. Now, another thing about your overview is you didn't really signpost it. And that's important because you want to show the examiner, look, this is my overview. I know I need an overview, and so I'm going to highlight what my overview is, so you have no doubts whether I've included one or not. So here I definitely would have put the word overall. Overall is kind of like the standard word that we use to show that we are beginning our overview. So, right, you mentioned the first island here, but then nowhere else. And it's all I really want is something very simple. You could have just, first of all, used this, okay, saying that this is 100 meters. So you could have said before construction, the island was uninhabited with trees in the northwest, northeast, and scattered throughout the center. Okay, you could also say that there is a beach on the western side of the island, which is approximately 80 meters long. Okay, using the scale. But definitely use the scale too. It's there for a reason. If they didn't want you to talk about it, they probably wouldn't have put it. Okay, so that's how I would have done it. I would have had a really brief kind of description of what the island looked like before. Because it's wrong just to focus on this. Okay, If they wanted you just to focus on this, they wouldn't have included the previous island. So that's how I would handle that. And then, like I said, I like the way you organized this. Yeah, but again, I also wasn't crazy about, I mean, I guess it's okay. When they say before and after, I always kind of mean like this is what it was before and this is what it is after. But I understand this could be what it is now and this is what it will be. That's okay. I've never seen it done like this, but I suppose it's not really specific. I suppose you would have to see what the task says, like how it's described, like um is it past or is it future? So that's going to give you the clue as to how to which tenses to use here. Okay, but since you didn't include it, I can't really comment on it. I thought it implied that this is what it used to be and this is what it is now, but again, I don't remember. Okay, so what do we have here? This is your last set with us. I think you said that you are taking your exam next week. Um, okay, so that's fantastic. Good luck. You're doing great. If you want to continue practicing right up to your exam, you will see a link in your email for how you can continue working with us. There's an essay package that you can begin straight away just to continue practicing and not really losing any of your momentum. So if that's something you want to do, great, let me know. Yeah, and if you decide not to do that and you're just going to study for the next week or so, I want to wish you tons of luck, and I definitely want to hear how it goes, how you did, and of course your scores when they come out. Okay, so great job. Keep working, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Good luck.